All right, family. I'm not the biggest Eric Adams supporter. Let's get this out the way. Matter of fact, I've been one of his biggest critics when it comes to how he folded during the illegal migrant crisis. Bro is out here rolling red carpets for people that ain't even citizens while New Yorkers were struggling to keep the lights on. But the media been moving grimy with him for a minute. And this last stunt, disgusting, absolutely evil. And for once, he had the backbone to call it out. He told reporters straight to his face, "You're a dark and sick person." And I'm not going to lie to you, I stood up and clapped. This wasn't a political moment, this was a human one. That was a man fed up with the lies, the smear campaigns, the hit pieces, and the mental gymnastics that these so called journalists do just to make a story out of thin air. And the cold part is, he was right. There was no lie detected in what he said, Mayor Eric Adams. Apparently, there's a book that came out written by Jasmine Ray, and it did not mention any sexual activity taking place at Borough Hall. But somehow, some twisted individual, in which Mayor Eric Adams calls him twisted, over at the Daily News, decided to put out a headline claiming exactly that. Like, man, how do you accuse somebody of something that ain't even in the source of material? That's not lazy journalism. That's calculated character assassination. And that's a hit job. And Adams ain't let it slide. And let me just say this real quick before we get into the video, because y'all not gonna hear this on CNN. Y'all not gonna hear it. This happens to a lot of politicians and a lot of individuals all the time, especially the ones who don't walk, talk, or vote how the left wants them to. And if you're not out here, doing or being obedient, uh, pledging allegiance to every liberal trend of the week, they come for your neck. And they don't care how long you've been serving. They don't care about your record. They don't care about the truth. They just want blood. And the accusation is more valuable than the facts. But here's where Adams really earned my respect, because he didn't just defend himself, he called out the whole machine. Check it out.
Listen, there was a book that came out that Jasmine Ray wrote, and in the Daily News today, it was stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall to be put in that book, and it wasn't. You're a dog sick person, man. You know that? You're a dog sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. Some of you have been covering me for 3.5 years. Some of you are so sick and dark, and you're the leader of that. You're one of the most dark writers that I've ever seen in this city. And your personal sick vendetta and the sickness of how you think of over-sexualizing a black man, that in the book is stated that there was a sexual action in Borough Hall. That was never in the book. But that's typical of the sickness and the darkness of your sick mind. You're one of the sickest reporters I know. Go to the next question. You're a sick person.
What's your reaction to Letitia James getting indicted?
I'm going to do the same thing to her, what I ask of everyone. When I was going through my situation, let the process play out. People attacked me. They called me names. They destroyed
That's fair. I gotta agree with him with that. Let the process play out. In the court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty. But man, he has a point. Playing with an individual livelihood based on just extreme accusations with no facts that have no basis, that can destroy someone's reputation, because a lot of times we all know that individuals are so busy trying to convict people in a court of public opinion before the actual facts come out. And then by the time the facts do come out, individuals already start divesting themselves from you. And the reporter who sat there smirking, as you seen with the jacket, who he seemed to know, right there in the front, sitting next to the individual in the burgundy jacket. He has like a jean jacket on. Look, the ones who've been covering him for years and suddenly forgot who he was. The snakes who saw an opportunity to tear him down, they secretly hated anyway. The type, the fake woke, fake progressive, but always the first ones to flip the switch when You know, he don't, in this case, Merrick Adams didn't dance the way they wanted him to. And what's worse is ain't nobody apologizing. Ain't nobody issuing a correction because in the new area of media, you don't need to prove anything anymore.
So let the process play out. People attack me, they call me names, they destroyed an impeccable record in the city. Folks, I've been doing this for 40 years. I have 40 years of delivering for the people of the city of New York. And within months, my entire life was destroyed. And some of you who knew me joined the chorus of calling me all sorts of names. He made a deal, he did this. All of you that knew me, I was really surprised. And some of you broke my heart. I was surprised that y'all saw how impeccable my record was as a police officer, state senator, borough president, and as a mayor. And within months, because of a lawfare, you all of a sudden turned me into a criminal. You characterized my administration as corrupt. You didn't look at the dedication and commitment and the success of this city. And I noticed, you know what's interesting? I'm seeing none of you report some of the stuff that is coming out of the FBI of what happened under the Biden administration. I'm not seeing you report that. I'm not seeing you report some of the hidden records and the hidden files. I'm not seeing that anymore. But what you did in those months, to me, I'll never forget that. It was wrong. I did not deserve that. And as a mayor and as a public servant, I committed myself to the city, and I'm going to continue to commit myself to the city in the process. What's up, Kelly?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
What's up?
He said, "What's up, Kelly?" And look, man, you got a point. You know what I'm saying? In the media, the new area of media, the new era, you don't need to prove anything no more. You just throw it out there, watch it spread, and let the damage cook. And then when the truth comes out, it's oops, next story. But meanwhile, the man's legacy, reputation, and name been dragged through the dirt. That's why Adam snapped, because he realized the truth don't matter to these people. Only the narrative does. And we all know that headlines is how these media, legacy media, mainstream media companies make their money. This ain't just about him. This is actually bigger, though. This ain't about just Mayor Eric Adams. This is about a system that's been weaponized to destroy anybody who steps out of line. And before you start celebrating it, just remember, they'll come for you too, because you think it's just politics. Nah, I mean, they'll come for business, family, job, church, platform, your platform. They're building a world where if you don't agree with their vision of reality, at least when it comes to the radical left, you don't deserve to exist in it, period. That's how you look at it, right? And don't get it twisted. I'm not about to act like Adams is some conservative hero. He still made a lot of weak moves. He chose to play both sides of the fences, because when it comes to him sitting there, allowing all the illegal migrants to come in off the backs of taxpayers, having illegal migrants get bussed in by the thousands, sleeping in police stations, overtaking schools to be able to sleep in, giving them hotels and things like that. I got to hold Mayor Eric Adams accountable. And as soon as he decided to fight against the Biden administration, I do believe, in my opinion, that they had decided to put him in check and basically try to give him a reality check, since he wanted to fight against the Biden administration and letting these illegals in. So he's not some conservative hero. But what I am saying is this moment right here, this was real. And I wish we saw more of it from, him and our so-called leaders over there in New York, because if half of them had the guts to speak this raw, this honest, the country wouldn't be in the mess it's in right now. And we need more truth and less polish, and more conviction and less compromise.
I'm good. I wanted to ask you a follow-up. Speaking of your indictment, you talked about the Justice Department weaponizing that indictment, going after black politicians. I mean, this is another black politician being indicted here in the city. What's your response to that?
Do you feel they weaponized me? Of course, you can answer. You asked me about others, but I remember how you covered me. You didn't feel they weaponized me? I was indicted for calling the fire department to do a building inspection. And many of you who covered me during that time were salivating at the thought that Eric will go to jail for 33 years. So don't start asking me about what do I think about what's going on now. I want to know what did y'all think about when my life was destroyed in this city. And I wish I had a mic so I can drop it right now.
Woof. Boy, oh boy. But look, let's keep it a buck, all the way a buck. If Adams had been this direct, this honest from the jump, he probably wouldn't be stepping down right now in the mayoral race to run again for a second term and actually be successful at it. But we all know he stepped down because individuals aren't rocking with him. They got that Saran Mudami guy, the socialist, seems to be more popular in vote. And the people respect real. And even if they don't always agree with you, it's the fake polish, try to please everybody nonsense that get politicians caught slipping. And Adams tried to play both sides, and they still threw him under the bus. And that's why you might as well stand on something real, because the moment you stop playing nice, they're going to try to cancel you anyway. Bottom line, bro, I respect the energy, I respect the truth, and I respect any man willing to look his accusers in the face and say, y'all tried to ruin me and I'm not letting it slide. Because that's how you fight back. That's how you shake the foundation. And even if it's too late to save his political career, at least he went out being honest, right? And swinging. And honestly, in today's clown world, that's more rare than ever. But I want to know you guys' thoughts down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got some value from it. As always, we just here to have a conversation. I love you guys, and I appreciate you, and I thank you. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.